We now know how easy it is to insert pictures into a publication. We did it in the last lesson. We even put it inside an AutoShape like you see here on my screen. But what you may not know is that you don't need image editing software to make some simple changes to your digital photos. You can fix the brightness and the contrast and so on right from within Publisher. And that's what we're going to do next. So we're working here on Card 7A, and if you've followed along from the previous lesson, you can just click on this image and remove it with your delete key on the keyboard. Now if you're jumping to this lesson, no problem. Just go to your Open button, navigate to the Lesson 7 folder of your exercise files, and double-click Card 7B, or one click and Open does the same thing, and I'll get you all caught up with us. So we're going to insert our image. We're going to leave out the AutoShape part here. We'll go up to our Insert menu, down to Picture, and we'll select From File. Now we'll navigate again to the Lesson 7 folder of your exercise files, because that's where you're going to find those dirty dogs. Double click or one click and Insert pops it right there in the middle of your publication. So I'm just going to move it up again. So that's editing. I've moved it. I can resize it. So I'm going to go to the handles here and size it so it fits inside the frame. So from both corners here. But all I've done is I've moved and resized. Notice that the picture toolbar shows up anytime we select an image like this. So with it selected, the picture toolbar shows up. If I deselect, it disappears. Click on the image again to select it. There's my picture toolbar. And here are some of the things I can do. Well, I can insert more pictures. I could insert picture or insert a picture right from a scanner or digital camera that would have to be hooked up and turned on. But then I get into some editing options here, like I can edit the color, more or less contrast, increase or decrease the brightness. I could crop this down. I can work with the border that goes around the outside of it, so changing the line style and color and so on. I can compress this picture so it takes up less space on my hard drive. I can decide how text is going to wrap around. Now in this case, text is not wrapping around my image, but text wrapping is something you might be familiar with from Microsoft Word, for example. I can format the picture, set a transparency color, so if I wanted something to be transparent, like a blue sky, for example, I could do that just by using this particular tool here. This button at the end will reset it back to its original the way you see it here now. So let's just try some of these. Let's see what happens if we increase the brightness, for example. With each click, you can see it's getting a little bit brighter, and now it's starting to wash out. So I'd want to decrease the brightness, bring it back down to a good level. That's good right there. I can also work with the contrast, create more contrast. You can see the picture sharpening there, or less contrast with each click of this button. Now, if the colors don't seem to be all that accurate, I can also work on color. When I click the color button, I've got some options. Automatic, so it'll automatically adjust the way it thinks it should look. I could switch to black and white or something called grayscale. Down below, black and white is strictly black or white. Grayscale gives me all the shades of gray in between. And then I've also got this effect here called washout. So if I click on washout, you can see what happens. So if I hit the reset button, I'll reset it back to the original. And look at that. It's huge. This is the actual original photo, and it's original size. So let's just size it down and move it back into position here. So at any time, if I want the original back, remember I've got that reset button. Okay, so I'm going to change the color to something different now. I'm going to choose automatic. And there are some slight adjustments made to the color to make it a little more vibrant there. I'm going to increase the contrast again just a little bit, maybe a little brighter. Good, that's how I like it right there. Now if I want to take out some of this image, I can crop it right from within Publisher here. I've got the crop button. I'm going to click on that, and notice that the handles have changed now. So if I want to squeeze it in from this side, I'm not just resizing now, I'm actually going to be cutting off part of the image. Over here as well, and I might want to bring the bottom up just slightly. Perfect. And when I'm done, I just come up here and click the crop button again, and you can see my regular handles are back, which means I can resize it, but with this newly cropped image, you can see that kind of fills in the area nicely. I'll deselect by clicking outside the image, and now I can see the actual finished product with all of the changes I made from the picture toolbar.